Hello everyone, we're here today with another great artist. Everybody, Natalie Abel.
Hi!
Natalie, tell me about yourself. When did you start your musical journey?
I
How did you start it?
started my musical journey when I was quite young. I started singing when I was quite young, like about 7. I was very into High School Musical, and I bought this High School Musical microphone, and I would just open the window and sing. And when I was a kid, I would like walk home and be like, "Oh, can anybody hear me?" Like, when you would just sing, and then someone would hear you, and they would be like, "Oh, that was good," and I'd be like, "Oh, are you a manager?" It would be silly stuff like that. And then yeah, I started singing in a choir with my best friend when I was about 12. And then when I was 18, I started writing a lot. And then I got some music experience other places in Norway and Oslo, because that's where I'm from. And then I applied to Lipa, and here we are.
Wow, sounds great. Sounds great. So was there any specific point that you can pinpoint and tell us, like, at one point in your life did you realize that this is something that I really want to do?
I was
How
doing
did
it a
happen?
lot. I never really thought that I could go anywhere with it. Like I didn't really think music was something that I was gonna end up doing, or that I had the guts to do
How
it.
old were you in that time? That
What
you were
sorry?
just doing it for fun?
From when I was like 7 till 16, it was just
Okay.
like, yeah, I'm gonna do some music college. Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, I'm quite good. Like, I always knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't really think it was doable, and I didn't really think that I would ever try to make a career from it, because I didn't think it was possible. I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
When did you get to that point that you said, okay, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life?
It was something drastic that happened in my life. Well, there were a lot of things that led up to it, but when I was 12, music was something that I connected extremely deep with, because I just started like recording some covers and making some Adele CDs, and I just connected very much with music. Music was actually something that was super emotional to me at that time. And then, I guess from that point, I knew it was something I wanted to do. But then when I was 18, another experience like happened. I lost a loved one, and I started writing a lot. And I think it just made me very, like, losing someone I really, really loved and cared about made me super aware of like time. And it made me super aware of how precious life is. Even though that sounds kind of silly, but yeah, it made me super grateful for everything that I had going on all of a sudden. And it just gave me that push. I was like, yeah, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do with my life. Like, yeah.
So you said you were 18 and you lost somebody.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that kind of feeling when you
I mean, at the time, it was devastating, horrible, and very difficult. But that's also when I found my writing. That's when I started writing, because it was a way of expressing feeling, and it was something I really enjoyed. And I channeled all my like grief energy into kind of just giving less fucks,
So
Like,
that helped you to be able to get rid of all those negative
yeah, it did. It kind of
feelings
made
in a
me
way.
like grow up, It made me think like, you know what, life is too short to worry about some things. It made me very aware of time, life, how precious it is, and it gave me a push to just like make the most of things, and that's when I knew I wanted to do music. So
Okay.
yeah.
Did you say you're studying music right now?
Yes.
What are you studying?
Songwriting. Yeah.
Do you think it's important to study to be a musician, or you can be a musician without studying?
I don't think it's important. I think, especially in today's modern world, there's so many ways of doing it. Like, logic and technology has made it doable for anyone to do it, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you have a musical talent, you should just do it, you know? I think a thing that's almost more important than a music degree is a marketing degree, and having a management, like a way of kind of knowing the market, read what people are about, and knowing what people want is just as important. Like making a product from what you're doing is sometimes even more important than the actual music. Obviously, work on your singing, work on your music
Craft,
theory,
yeah.
like, but the most important thing is always going to be what is your story, what is your brand, what are you selling to people.
That's what exactly it is. Like from the very beginning that you start writing a song to composition, recording, arranging, mixing, mastering, and when that song is there, you just 50% there. The
Yeah.
other 50% is getting it out
Yeah.
there, and the marketing skills that you mentioned, which is very, very important.
Yeah.
So how did you find studying music? Because sometimes there are a lot of people that are opposite against studying, and they would say like studying might be a waste of time.
I think for me, it's definitely not. Like, I love it, and but I've always enjoyed reading and digging deep into things, and like
Perfectionist.
yeah, or not necessarily perfectionist. I'm kind of going with what happens in life, but I really much enjoy going deeply into things.
Okay.
And I'm very curious. I love learning. So I never really had a problem with books or anything like that. So, but obviously studying music is way more creative. And I think LIPA is great because studying in LIPA means collaborations, it means performance, it means learning a kind of recipe for songwriting, which you can later, like, you can learn from it and you can go away from it or you can stick with it. Like, and you learn how to analyze and you learn the market and you get connections. And so, yeah, definitely not a waste of my time at all in studying music, and technique as well. Incredible vocal teachers. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you come from a musical family?
Really only my grandmother. She
What did you do?
she did piano, cello, yeah, a lot of music, and a lot of singing as well. Very, very much loves music. My like the other and my granddad as well. He's in a choir. My parents always, like, they love music, and they would, like, when I was a kid, they would always like play a lot of great music, Pink Floyd, play all the classics, and Led Zeppelin, and great 70s rock music. And music was always a big part of my life, but not in the sense that they play an instrument or kind of... Oh, well, to be fair, my dad as well, he was in like a choir in Norway, and my mom has a talent for it, but yeah, nothing like they're not doing it on a big scale or anything.
So how was your parents' reaction when you started showing interest to music? Were they supportive and saying, okay, go on, this is something that you really want to do? It's up to you? Or they said, get a 9-to-5 job? Or
a little bit of both, I think, but they've always been super supportive. And I think they've always pushed me in the right way, you know? And they have great belief in me. They support me very much because they really believe in me. So I think that's an important thing, you know? I've always felt great support from them. Yes, they're probably shit scared. They're probably like, this is gonna be okay.
Music, really?
Yeah, on the inside probably have that little fright, you know, but I think they have also a deep trust because they know I'm hardworking. So I don't think they have any like worry that I'm not gonna be able to use it for anything useful, you know.
Would you still choose the same path if they weren't supportive and even against it?
Yeah, I probably would, but I definitely would have. And then I would have tried to show them a lot of proof that this is something I can do.
This
But
will work.
yeah.
And make it work.
Yeah, and I get motivated by that when people tell me like you can probably not do it. That like motivates me to work harder sometimes. But it would have been more difficult. I think.
Oh, sure.
For people to not have that support, that's not something everyone has, and I think that can make it a lot harder. Definitely, like obviously you want to make your parents proud, you know, so and sometimes I do think that, you know, being, you know, studying to be like a nurse or something that directly immediately contributes to society feels better, you know, because sometimes this search for the artist persona and all of that can feel quite inside your head and take a lot of energy, but then you get the joy of giving people a great performance and giving people music, and it really isn't an egocentric profession at all in a sense, because music can help people, music connects people, music gives people a language for emotions, music gives people a good time, music lifts people's moods. There's so many great things to it that I think is really underestimated.
I agree 100%. I think whatever that you do, somehow it does contribute to the community in some way, whether it's going to be a job that you're sitting in the office, that you're helping the community in some way, or whether you're like up front, like in front of a 10,000 like people stadium in front of the crowd. That's gonna be something that you're still gonna contribute to the community, like always making them feel good, making them feel happy.
That's true.
So I think whatever you do, it does do that anyway, but in a different form and different shape.
And people do frown upon it, definitely, a lot of the times, and that's why it's capitalistic in a lot of sense. Like we need funds for it, you know. So sometimes that does contradict with my kind of beliefs about not how society should work, but sometimes you know, that kind of business side of it can contradict with not my morals, but like I don't know, the economy side of it, I guess. Like it can be difficult to do a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
I also really genuinely believe in just putting all your effort into the songwriting, and then things will just happen from there. Like if you've got great music, and that's gonna speak for itself.
Sure.
In a sense as well.
Do you have a time during the day that you put your phone away, or weekly or daily? You say, okay, I'm not gonna touch my phone. I'm gonna, for example, just sit down and listen to classic music or whatever, and just be away from all the social media platforms.
I try my best to stay conscious of it, but it is difficult, especially now that I'm posting a lot and really trying to market myself on the platform and like connecting with people about it. You know, it's fun. It's like, oh yeah, like speaking to and making connections to musicians. With opportunities through these platforms. So it's difficult to do, but I do it. I don't scroll, I just speak to people, really.
Okay, but, that's great.
I'm a very sociable person, so I'm a great talker as well. You can probably notice. Talk and talk.
Do you tie yourself to one specific genre when you want to describe yourself?
That's a great question.
As an artist, do you say, okay, I work in pop? Or do you just keep your mind open to experiences and just absorb them and absorb all those influences from all around you and just create something?
So I think the most genuine, authentic approach is whenever you just kind of write whatever comes, and it's very true to the emotion, and it's real, and it's genuine lyrics, and the music is not necessarily a very super refined or defined genre, because I think today's music market is such a massive blend
Very
of
diverse,
genres.
yes. 100%.
But then the issue is your brand needs to be
Marketing side of
quite,
it.
you know, set on what you're doing.
100%.
And I've been getting that a lot because my voice is quite like soul. Like I'm a soul singer, and I love Aretha Franklin. I love Jennifer Hudson. I love soul music. I love Adele. And then I write in a quite pop commercial way. But then when I perform it live, it also has a rock aspect to it.
All right.
So right now I'm exploring a lot of different genres. But I think no matter what I do, I'm always going to be soul. So I think that's something that will always stick with me.
Okay,
Like,
that would be like soul / something else.
soul with influences from pop and rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you play any instruments?
Not very well. I've been trying to learn the ukulele this summer.
Okay.
Because I have very small hands, so when I play guitar, I can't really reach. But I do play guitar and keys just to write, and I can accompany myself like all right.
In the song. Do you think it's important to be able to play an instrument, to be a musician?
I think having developed those skills and knowing the theory has made me a better writer. And it gives you, you know, very different ways of writing, which is super important. And I think each instrument always inspires me to write different things. So I think it's something everyone should try and learn, yeah. It definitely helps me anyway. But I need to improve my skills on that.
How do you get inspiration? Where do you get them from? Like when you want to write a song, where did you get that inspiration from?
Deeply emotional experiences.
So you dig deep inside.
Yes. But also just whenever I meet interesting people, I get very inspired. Like people inspire me a lot. And psychology inspires me a lot. Like I'm always trying to like understand, like psychology is something I'm super interested in, and how our minds work and how we function and yeah, I think psychology is where I get, like, I actually listen to the psychology podcast for inspiration a lot of the time. Philosophy inspires me a lot. Other artists inspire me a lot. And yeah, just, I always, whenever I feel something, like I feel things very deeply. So I'm always able to, like, that always makes me be able to write, I guess. Like, if I feel super happy or if I feel sad, I love writing about it, you know.
Have you released any songs?
I released one single so far. It's called
Okay.
Heading for Clouds.
Okay.
Yeah, I released it
Guys,
in March.
make sure you go check it out. I'm going to put the link down below and go have a listen and go give her a follow.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's called Heading for Clouds.
Heading for Clouds. What is it about?
It's about ambition. It's about...
is it personal or is it something that you observed?
It's both, but it's more observed, really. And it started as a kind of ironic way of writing about ambition, because I just found the kind of, you know, work on your, oh, thank you so much. That was like my third bottle of water. Talking.
You don't need to count. You don't need to count.
Thank you, man. No, what were we talking about? Sorry.
About...
Heading for Clouds, my single. So,
About the intention behind it. Was it something that you observed or was it something that you experienced yourself?
yeah, so at
So you said
first...
it's a bit of both.
Right now it's definitely more personal than it was. When I wrote it, it was very much about like, everyone's like trying to be this, like, search for the fame, this big thing. It feels very draining. Can we just like enjoy music for music and kind of just be real and just, you know, do it for the work, do it because we love it? Does it have to be about, living in a massive city, having a massive, does it have to be about fame, and does it have to be about money? And then, because I was just challenging myself to kind of think, am I doing this because I love it, or am I doing this because I want that kind of life? So yeah, but yeah, I'm doing it because I love it. But that's originally how I started writing that. But then Headed for Clouds is also just about believing in yourself, though. It's an empowering
Absolutely.
song. Like, yeah, it's about heading for clouds. You know, go reach for the moon and land among stars.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you had a chance to choose between releasing one song a year, but it's a really good quality song, or release an album, but in terms of quality, it might not be that good, but the message is obviously the message that you want to deliver to your audience. Which one would you choose?
That's a great question.
Which ultimately leads to like quantity or quality.
So that's definitely changed for me. When I started my degree 2 years ago, my project plan was make an album in 6 months.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I wrote loads. I've written a lot of songs, but I don't necessarily love them all. And I don't want to release them before I know I love something. And I know that I believe in it, and I know that it represents who I am as an artist. So, yeah, it feels good now to be in the recording process of something I know that I believe in and something I know is very me. And I'm excited to release that, but I won't release it until I know for sure that it's exactly how I want it.
So, quality.
Quality.
One song a year.
Yes.
But it's a good quality song.
Yes.
Okay. But what do you think about the actual social presence that we're going to have? Because obviously, as you probably know yourself, with all the social media platforms, Google, YouTube, and everything, it's important that the more number of you exist out there, the algorithm knows you more, promotes you more, pushes you more.
Yeah.
Especially with TikTok, it works the same way. That's why a lot of people who are marketing agencies or marketing guys, they're gonna advise you, make sure you just put out videos like 3 times a day. That's how the algorithm recognizes you, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that side of it? If I'm only, let's imagine we have a career of 30 years. If you put out one song a year, that would be 30 songs in 30 years.
Yeah.
But if you put an album a year, that would be 30 albums.
Yeah.
Don't you? What do you think about that?
I think there's so many different ways of doing music with that. So I could still, release all my writing on TikTok, but it's not going to be on the platforms until I'm super happy with it,
Release
so it's
it in a different way.
Or like even just perform my writing on TikTok or live performances. Try out, have like people following you live before you release stuff. If you're doing stuff live, then yeah, the right connections and people love it and people are following you around when you're doing your gigs, you're doing something right. So, yeah, I still stick with the quality thing.
I actually like that idea. So that you release that one good quality song, but you still use your other content in different forms. For example, you release a reel, or you release like this video on TikTok, or release you performing on YouTube, something like that. I actually like that idea. Do you feel that there is any kind of pressure from the music industry that you have to look in certain way? You have to say certain things. You have to behave in certain way.
That's a great question. I think overall people are great and really, really nice people. And I think, some great connections and people all want the same thing. I have really good experiences. I've always known quite well who I am. I've never really been scared to kind of just not give myself that pressure and just be like, yeah, this is me, this is what I'm about, and take it or leave it,
Being quite confident in your own skin.
Yeah, and just to kind of dare to say no to that pressure, and just kind of dare to be who you are, But there's definitely pressure. And there is like all types of different experiences. I think also being a woman in the industry can be quite difficult. Like there's not a massive number of us. There's not a massive number of us as writers, instrumentalists. Like there's hardly any female instrumentalists compared to male in Lipa, in our uni, which is just, you know, true. Like in the music industry as well, there's not as many women. So I think that can sometimes, I think just being heard and being, because when you're, for instance, when you're running a band as a woman, you have to be quite assertive and you have to be quite, you know, sometimes you need leader qualities. And I think that sometimes contradicts with also what people think subconsciously how women should act. Like it contradicts with how, it subconsciously contradicts with how people think women should behave in certain situations. So that's definitely a challenge I feel sometimes, to kind of just feel like heard, you know? Yeah, and respected as well. Like there's sexualization in the music industry as well, which is a whole different topic. But that's, I do have some experience with that as well, and I know other women do too. So I think it's super, that's also a thing, like to just feel respected and not sexualized is also a challenge I do face. I do.
So the way that you face all those pressures is by getting to know yourself more, being more confident and getting more comfortable in your own skin, being okay to say, okay, this is me, I'm developing, but this is me.
Yeah.
Have you done any sacrifices during your journey, during your musical journey, to say, okay, for being a musician, I'm doing this, I'm not sleeping as much, I'm not eating as much, I'm not with, for example, spending as much as time with my family. Have you done like any sacrifices?
Yes,
Okay.
especially these past 2 months.
Okay.
I've just been on a very like, I quit drinking. I've just been doing a lot of gigs, which is great. I love it. So that's also meant that I haven't been able to like be out as late. I've had and recently I've just started a better like diet as well and better routine, really. Because that's kind of what I've learned quite recent, that the voice is a muscle, and that means you're an athlete. So you almost have to think of the voice as your sprint, like your leg sprinting, literally.
Sure, yeah.
So if you're going to perform your best and you're going to do loads of gigs, loads of rehearsals, lots of studio work, you're going to need...
It's for the competition. You gotta get ready for it.
You have to look after yourself, I think is the most important thing. You have to be really, really kind to yourself and really patient with yourself and to others as well. And you have to like really take care of yourself.
What are the things that you eat for your vocal, like, alone?
Yeah, I eat a lot of ginger.
Ginger, okay.
It's anti-inflammatory.
Oh, anti-inflammatory.
And it's also just like, I've been ill so much this fall, like we all have. But I've just been like literally eating ginger.
Okay.
Lemon.
Have you like felt the difference the time that you're eating? Okay.
Yes, so it like boosts your immune system. I've had COVID 3 times, so I know that my immune system like needs the boost. I cook like healthy vegetable pasta dinners, and also just have been exploring some. I have this like, it's called Broke Vegan, this cookbook, but I'm not a vegan, but I like take inspiration from it, and then I just kind of make my own recipes whenever I can. So I try to stay healthy that way. A lot of oats as well. I eat a lot of oats. Yeah.
Any exercises that you do?
Like physically? I do a lot of dancing.
Even mentally?
Yeah. And mentally, I think a massive thing is switching off, which I'm not great at. Like, I'm always like, woo. But you need to, like, sometimes just leave things for a little while.
How do you tell your mind, shut up? Because sometimes it's like that with all the information that we're bombarded with. Sometimes you want to just tell your mind, shut up. I don't want to hear anything right now. I want to sit down for 10 minutes and I don't want to hear it.
I think you go do something else. Like for me, it's dancing. Like it just helps me switch off. I appreciate my friends a lot, and just, you know, kind of ground yourself is important. I think keeping the perspective of why you're doing things is important, kind of just remembering to have fun with things.
Mm-hmm.
But switching off, I think, is also meditation is a big part of it. Like through dance, I've done a lot of meditation. So like by dancing, you kind of learn to just, it's almost like with any performance really, you have to just act with the current and just kind of, you know, stay present. So I think meditation is super helpful.
Do you do it?
I'm not doing it that much currently,
Okay.
but exercise and dancing does help me kind of be able to do it. And
So you feel the difference between the time that you do it
yes,
and the time that you don't do it. You feel the dynamic of the emotions.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, massive change.
I'm a musician. Okay. I don't know anybody in town. How should I network? Give me advice.
Yes. Are you currently studying music, or are you just?
No, I'm just a musician. Just moved to Liverpool.
Okay.
What should I do to network with other musicians, jam with them? What should I do?
Go to gigs. Go see live gigs. Start promoting, like releasing your stuff on social media platforms. People will start engaging with it, especially because Liverpool's such a music, like it's a place for
city,
music,
yes.
you know. All of it's been very much online, but this fall, everything's moved to like live gig places, venues a lot more. So I'd also go just do open mics, and you know, in like Cavern in town. There's a lot of great places to do like just open mics and try out your stuff, get experience, meet with people.
Yeah, be open.
Yeah.
Talk to people. Be friendly.
Yeah.
Do you have a mentor?
I have two like people who are kind of co-managing me. They don't live here currently, but one of them I'm super close with, and we did a lot of work last year. She's now in London doing an internship in Infected Records. So she's currently doing her internship in London. But yeah, that's kind of like my mentor in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Has it helped?
Yeah.
In what way?
It helps because it with contacts is a good thing, and it helps with someone else's perspective of you. So like they can be very honest about what they're hearing, and they can be very honest about what they think of the product. Like it's this honesty, you know, because like when your friends are coming to gigs, they'll be like, yeah, we loved it, it's amazing.
You. It's a different vibe. It's a different
But then with a mentor, or I'll ask my like musician friends, what did you really think? Like I always want their honest personal opinion, because it's not personal, it's work. So I like will never be kind of have an ego around my work. Like I just want it to be the best that it can. But with a mentor, I know that she's always going to be, you know, the kind of eye of the public. Like, this is what I think the brand is. So that's really great.
I actually love that perspective, because when you have that second opinion on your work, that he or she doesn't really care about you or your work, just going to be very frank and blunt, say no. You know what I mean? Because when, like, as someone who is producing that work, you're so connected and intimate with your own craft. You might not have that perspective, but it's always good to have that perspective as well, because it's going to be really helpful, as you said.
Yeah, and I think everyone should. That's definitely something I've learned. Like, because music is something so personal and emotional to everyone who's doing it, I think that's something I've learned, to just be a kind of bit more open to other people's input, open to other people's ideas, and try them out. Because I think, like, if you look at the charts, the best songs are written by 10 different people. So I think there's something great, like great ideas come from multiple people collaborating on a project. So I think that's super important, to kind of not have any ego around it.
How do you handle negative
constructive feedback?
How do you handle them? Like, if somebody comes, like, let's just say that they're close to you as well, they're your friend, they don't really have bad intention, or it's somebody that you don't know. How do you handle those kind of comments that are negative and maybe even destructive?
I think it's super important to be respectful. So if I'm working with someone, I expect them to say things in a respectful way and to be like, this would be even better if you did this, I think. You know, there's a way of saying things, and I think that's super important to always have empathy with people in a session. If it's people I don't know, I want to try, like, be curious. Be like,
what's going on?
Yeah.
Why do you think that way?
You know, how can, maybe that can, if I ask them, like, oh, okay, yeah, great, okay, I want to be open to your opinion, you know? That might be the thing that can make it that much better. So I want to try kind of just be curious whenever it's stuff like that. That's the kind of perspective. But obviously I also respect what I'm doing and I respect my work. So if people are being not nice about it, then that's, you know, their problem.
Do you have a plan B? So if plan A doesn't work, okay, do you have plan B?
No, not at all.
No, not at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe in plan Bs, personally.
What's your thought process? Tell me how does it work in your mind that you say, okay, I don't need plan B. Why?
I think...
Tell me, I have plan B. I want to get rid of it. Tell me how to do it.
I very much believe in where attention goes, energy flows. So where your attention is going and what you focus on, that's going to become your life. So I believe, like, in Lippa we learn some visualization techniques in like the very start of the year.
It's part of the course.
Yeah, they did only like an hour kind of thing, but it was really great because you know, what you visualize can become your life. Like, ideas become thoughts, thoughts become words, words become actions. That's how we function as humans. So I think if I were to put my focus somewhere else, or if I were to put my eggs in another basket, I wouldn't end up doing music fully, and I wouldn't give it my all, and it wouldn't be my life. But right now I am kind of nearly living from it, and I do live a music-based life. So making money from it through cover gigs, you know, really putting all my effort into the band and my music and my writing. And I'm most of the time not thinking about much else. And I think that is, for me personally, the way to do it. But I think it's something I've also thought about, obviously, is marketing and acting and dance, because I have a great passion for that as well. Like, for a while I was exploring musical theater. I'm still like gonna do a musical next year, like in my uni.
Sounds great.
And acting is something I'm very passionate about as well. It's something I want to explore. Dance is something I've done a lot. So it's not like I have a plan B, but it's more like
being flexible to just maybe do something else maybe in the future. You're open to that kind of a thought. Yeah.
Open to trusting that hard work is going to pay off. And if you're working hard, it's going to take you somewhere. It might not be, you know, life happens. We hardly end up where we think we're going to end up.
Sure.
Yes, planning is important. That's another thing we learned, like, failing to plan is essentially planning to fail. So I think that's really important, planning out projects and things very well, and doing them fully. But yeah, I am going with the motion of life as well.
There is actually a beautiful quote. Don't ask me about names and dates. I'm not really good with them. But there is a beautiful quote that says, somebody asked this successful person, says, how can I be successful?
Yeah.
And he said, fail fast. That's one of the things. It's very interesting because you're going to have to face a lot of fails to be able to get to success.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be like the case of I plan for it and it's going to just work out out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to face a lot of fails.
Failure is like the paradox to success.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree. So let's just imagine music doesn't exist in the world. There's no music or music related like jobs or careers.
Okay.
What would you do? Who would you be?
I would love to do acting.
Mm-hmm.
Great passion for it. Mostly because I'm just so curious about people. And yeah, I'm just very like, I love acting. And empathy as well is something I just, I've always been very fascinated about human psychology. So acting is definitely something I'd love to
So
do.
where is that plan A? So where do you want to see yourself in 20 years time? Where is that ultimate goal that you see yourself? This is where Natalie should be in 20 years, and when I get there, I'm happy.
I think it's really important to be happy wherever you are, because I don't think happiness is something you can pursue. I think if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy when you have that major music success.
Oh, I love
and
that.
you
I
have
love
that major, you've got that like major house and major record. Like, yes, I would love to be signed to a record label and be able to release my music and have millions of streams and millions of concerts and touring the world. Yes, that is what I want,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm working to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to make me happier if I'm not happy in myself right now, because I think happiness comes from so many other things than what we have. It comes from the connections we have with people. It comes from our friends and our family, and it comes from gratitude, loving what you're doing and making the most of things. Yeah.
So where does your happiness come from? Obviously, you pointed out few of them.
Yeah.
But let's say I'm a miserable person. Okay, what are a couple of advices that you can give me to be a happy person?
Oh, I think humor. And that's what I love about the British people, because they just laugh about anything. They're good at making humor out of anything and just having a laugh, and obviously it's way more difficult if you're struggling with something. Then I think you should definitely, speak to someone about it. It's more complex than that.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that make me happy in general are, my friends, my family, my job, my music, writing, and dancing makes me very happy. Overall, though, I think being grateful for things makes me happy, and to kind of just be able to go with life, it makes me happy to just be kind to others and myself. That makes me very happy.
3 things that you're grateful for.
Right
because
now.
I think it's one of the things that I'm doing it myself every day. I think it's necessary to have the attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, wow, I love that. Yeah, the attitude of gratitude. I'm very grateful for my uni and the amazing people there, the opportunity to do music and to the opportunity to release and perform. The second thing I'm very grateful for is my family and friends, who I love very much. I also live with my best friend, and she's incredible. She's also an aspiring artist.
Do you want to shout her name out?
Cleo Music, check her out.
Okay.
And the third thing I'm grateful for right now is, there's a lot of great things going on in my life right now. The third thing I'm grateful for is food.
Great.
Yeah. Just being able to, cook food. It's good.
That's actually very interesting. I think it's
to be kind to yourself.
I think it's important to be able to be happy with simple things in life.
Yeah.
Because if I'm happy with simple things, even like as you said, like eating good food, and it makes me happy. I think big things make me more happy. Does that make sense?
Wow, that's so true. Yeah.
Because if I'm chasing this massive, in this case, goal that is gonna get me it's gonna take me 20 years to get there, I'm never gonna be happy. But if I can be happy with simple things, like it could be like a piece of chocolate.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and I can be like sit in the corner and just enjoy myself having that chocolate.
Yeah.
That's just, I think, one of the most amazing things to have in life.
And even just being grateful for things that happen every day. Like sometimes, I mean, especially when you're working a lot, the days can feel like they almost go into like, they just become this smoosh, you know? And you're like, whoa, what just happened? And it's been like that for me. The past month has been quite overwhelming with a lot of work and new things happening. And I think to take day by day is so important. And yeah, today I'm super, like 3 things I'm grateful for today. Still my uni and my family, and yeah,
good food.
I had a really great vegan meatball arrabbiata sandwich, and it was great. It was great.
That's it. I love it. I love the attitude. I love it. Do you have a release strategy? So when you wanna release the song, the single that you released, did you have like a strategy to release it? What did you do?
I've quite recently learned more about that and how to plan things out. And we had a really good, cool person come in and to our uni and do a masterclass on it. And he was talking about having a 6-week plan for your release, which I'm going to do with my next ones. Because with my previous one, I promoted it through gigging on the day I released it. I promoted it through uploading a lot to TikTok. And I promoted it through like posters and a photo shoot I did, and a concept work and a lot of posts. But I didn't plan it. I didn't go like a deep dive into TikTok strategy, which is what you should be doing when you're releasing. Really just have like making funny videos with the stuff and kind of just trying to use that, because I think that reaches a lot of people. And also doing gigs and having a very clear concept and photo shoot for the song is important.
Tell me about a few challenges that you came across in your life, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, cool. Yes. One musical, and this is by far the biggest learning experience. I was working extremely close with a producer during COVID, and I had to learn how to set boundaries with this person. So there were a lot of things that weren't working in our working relationship, and learning how to say no was an extremely valuable lesson for me, both as a human being, but also in a music setting, and learning how to respect yourself enough to, walk away from something that isn't working. So that was a big music challenge. Maybe another big music challenge, because I would like, that is something I'm very, that is a big one for me. I was in Norway's Got Talent in 2019, and my first performance I did there, one of the judges, like the 3 other ones were like so nice and they really liked it, but one of them like said like, this is like karaoke to me. And because it was Norway's Got Talent, which is a reality show, I obviously catched on that this is kind of to create a storyline. This is to create some drama. This doesn't feel genuine or real. This is really just about making reality TV in that moment. And it wasn't a nice thing to say on TV to an 18-year-old girl who has just poured her heart out, done a performance on TV. It's going to be on YouTube for the rest of her life. Yeah. Like, it was a shitty thing to do. Yeah, and I felt super vulnerable and not at all good with it for a very long time. And it's not a big thing, like it was just a reality show. But to me, I felt super exposed and I felt used in the program, and I like used to create some kind of like to get more viewers, really. even though that might have been his genuine opinion and it might have not been planned out and it might have been something that he just said because he wanted to say it, I was not comfortable with it. And it made me then in the next round write an original song, which was about like things not being real on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that was intentional either, but the lyric, like, nothing is real on TV, was cut from that performance. And yeah, I just felt like overall that taught me that what happens on TV is hardly and rarely a real representation of, yeah.
It's probably unfortunate, to be fair, but because they want to, as you said, they want to attract a lot of viewers, so they're trying to make the dynamic of the show in a way that is gonna, oh my god, that happened.
Yeah.
You know, so even if that was, I haven't seen it and I don't know what was going on or who is that person, but I'm just suggesting, even if that was a real thing, they try to bring somebody who has that kind of extremist kind of person that criticizes people to death to create that kind of
tension.
dynamic and tension kind of vibe into the show. But at the same time, I think from my perspective, there is some positive side to it as well. Not into that specific, not in that specific situation. Somebody actually made a very good example, and I like that example. I just want to quote it. He was saying even US president had 51% of the society agreeing with him. The understanding of the concept, I think, is going to really help me in life, that a lot of the times, a lot of people, they're going to disagree with me. They don't even want to look at me. They don't even like me. But I got to do my thing. This is my thing. This is my goal. I don't care what people say. You know,
not everyone is gonna like you. Totally.
Absolutely, I agree.
Which is completely fine. I think there's also something very good about kind of choosing to always understand people and be kind to people. But obviously, if someone's like doing you wrong, then yes, you should not be their friend, and you should respect yourself. And
absolutely.
But I think we're all just humans trying to learn as well. And I think, yes, you do need to be able to take criticism. Definitely. Constructive feedback. There's just a way of doing it. Not on national TV, you know. But then sometimes they unintentionally want to, but they're still so, you know, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's still happening.
Thanks for coming. Do you think social media has helped you to be a better artist or to have more reach?
I think, yes, it's made me aware of like what I'm doing, because it gives you almost like a portfolio. Like when you're posting a lot, you get to kind of see, oh, what have I actually been doing for the past like year? What was my journey? How did I grow? And what works and what doesn't work? And I think for reflection and for like having a portfolio, having people be able to see what you're on about, like they can see this is the concept on social media is good. So I kind of treat it like a portfolio in a sense.
Take me into your creation process. Okay, so when you want to write a song, what do you do? What's the very first step that you do?
The first step is melody and then concept. And I usually, I write down concepts all day throughout the day. Like if I just have a thought or I see something, like what did I write down today? I probably wrote down something weird. Like right when I was going to the bus to get here, I wrote down this thing that someone took, because I was doing a scene and I was sitting in a bar and I was acting, and it was an acting thing and we were shooting a scene, and I was gonna flirt with the guy sitting next to me, And he was like, and we were trying to figure out a name, and I was like, oh yeah, it feels like a Rachel. And then the character just kind of, and then after the scene was done, I couldn't get out of the Rachel. Like I was still the character.
Okay.
And then I just loved that concept, like you can't escape the character. So that's just, and then probably the next time I'm writing, I'll have like some melody idea and then some chords, and I'll be like, oh yeah, can't escape the character. I really like that concept. I want to explore that in some of, with some of this. And then, but then other times it's more like just a thought process kind of coming in a flow. But I like kind of having ideas written down and things that I know I wanna like write about. Like, for instance, like, yeah, like the other day I've been watching the horrible Jeffrey Dahmer documentary, and I knew that with that I wanted to also explore kind of evil in the world, and I wanted to explore what it means, and I wanted like the philosophical side of that. So yeah, my writing is about a lot of different stuff. Sometimes it's just random stuff, like someone will say, oh yeah, you can't escape the character, and then I think that's like cool. And then sometimes it's just like, what else did I write? Oh, someone said, yeah. So my friend, she texted me.
Okay.
And she was like, I just woke up laughing, and now I feel like I have a sore throat. I just found it really funny, because it's such a thing. Sometimes you'll dream about something really funny, like and you just wake up laughing. Like that happens to me all the time. Like this one time I had this crazy dream where I dreamed that I was stuck in a 500 meter, like in my head it was 500 meters, like 500-meter long tree, and for some reason I thought it was a bus, so I was like on the bus going like holding a branch in the tree, and the branch was going like that, and then in the dream I was ringing my grandfather being like, can you pick me up? And then in the dream his car like drove backwards, and I could see it from 500 meters up in the tree, and the car like drove, and then he was there to pick me up, but in the dream he only had like vegetables with him. And then I woke up and I don't know, I just found like I think in images a lot of the time, so to kind of wake up laughing was just such a funny thing to me, and that's the kind of stuff that inspires me sometimes.
Okay, so you write some lyric, right? And then you maybe pick an instrument, right, to see what goes with it, right? What's the next step that you do? What do you do after it?
I think structure for it. So when I've decided on a concept and I've got a lot of lyrics, and I usually write on keys, and then I think about the structure, like I think about the chords, and I think about the like change of the chords. I think about like how they're organized and when they change and how to get it built up, and a bit of music theory stuff. And then I think about the like overall structure, like verse, chorus, chorus.
Arrangement of the song,
Yeah, but it usually just starts with like a musical idea though. Melody ideas is always like, that's like my strength, but then everything around it, like a company and like what all the other instruments are doing, and having a good lyric ideas. I have a lot of good lyric ideas, but structuring the lyrics and having like that the storyline, that everything works with the concept is also super important. Like if someone else can get the message, that's the most important thing. So I try and always work on that as well.
Okay, then you have a composition, you arrange it, and what do you do next? Do you do it in your Logic yourself, or do you take it to somebody else?
So I usually work with other people because I haven't done a lot of Logic work. I know I can do a rough demo, but I prefer working with others on it.
Oh, of course.
And I prefer a producer to give me a lot of input. So it's usually, but to think like a producer, I think is such an important skill.
Okay.
Like to think arrangement, to have an idea for what you want it to sound like, references for the song, like having other people, like finding other artists who are doing the same thing. Even just sounds from other music that you know you want to use in the song. Yeah, stuff like that.
And after the song is ready, do you give it to somebody else to mix and master it?
Mix and mastering. So that would also be a lot of the time the producer or the sound engineer for the project. Yeah.
And then you put it out there.
And then I put it out there. Well, after 6 weeks of promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got any side hustle? Or music is the main thing and there is no side hustle currently?
So I'm trying to make all my side hustles work into music. So cover gigs is like a side hustle. Just doing cover music in like bars. But I love dancing, so that's also like a side hustle. I don't really... I do give it my all, and I was doing it a lot for a while. Like before COVID, I was doing it like almost wanting to do it professionally, and I was kind of going down that lane of wanting to do that. But then I ended up doing music instead. So I try to keep up dancing, and it's also important in performance skills. So that's like a side hustle. Yeah.
I'm sitting down here, I get stressed, I get anxiety. How should I approach them? What should I do?
As a musician?
As a musician, as a person?
I usually dance it out.
Okay.
I put on my favorite song and I go like this for a full hour and just, you know, move around, like move. I think dance is such a great way of getting out of your head sometimes and making you feel more connected to yourself. Even if you're a shit dancer, you know, just dance.
I like that. What do you think about the future of music? So I ask everybody to make a prediction. We're coming from a place that we listen to vinyls and cassettes. We're in an era that we listen to music online, which is streaming. What do you think would be the next form of consuming music? What's your prediction?
It looks like right now it's happening on TikTok. And it looks like everything's moving to more and more technology based music. And that's where the most money is. But I have a slight hope, you know, that even after COVID, that we're just gonna be sick of it at some point and move to just having it be like a live thing again. Because I think live performances they've lost their importance in the music industry.
Have you heard about metaverse?
Well, no, I haven't actually. No.
So metaverse is like a virtual reality.
Right.
You've probably seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
So companies like McDonald's already bought virtual lands there.
Yeah.
And I've heard a couple of famous artists, they had an actual concert. So you put your VR, you buy a ticket, and you're there and you see the artist. The artist is probably going to be behind a green screen with everything is going on, but you can see everything 4K. That's one part of the reality of the future that's going to happen, because I've seen that a lot of companies like McDonald's bought virtual land there. I don't really know how does McDonald's is gonna taste like virtually? No. Because how can you have fries virtually?
Wow, that's mad.
I don't know how is it gonna work, but that's interesting. But I would assume that still considered as a streaming. Yeah. Because you're still streaming music. Whoa. But I'm interested to know what's the next thing. Yeah. What's how are we gonna consume music? Yeah. What's the next level of music consumption? Because like vinyls are coming back now, right? We're having a lot of vinyls being sold nowadays. But I don't know, some people say because it's a loop.
It's kind of like vintage, isn't it? Like it's become modern because it's vintage. It's like the 70s. I feel like the 70s never left Liverpool in general though. Everyone still kind of loves Beatles, and they're still kind of 100%. You know, some people even dress like them still. They they get their haircuts. They live like they're still in you know that time. Yeah.
I know. 3 things that you want to promise yourself in front of camera. Yeah. be careful because one of your promise is going to stay on your ticket for a while.
Yeah, wow.
So 3 things you're going to promise yourself that when you walk out of here,
yeah.
you're going to do it or start doing it if the process like takes longer.
Wow. Do they have to be like specific?
No, whatever you want to say, whatever you want
Love
to say.
that.
I want to, for example, start. I don't want to give you ideas.
Okay, yeah.
For example, I want to start doing yoga every day.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm saying.
Yeah. First one would be keep working hard, but also look after yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The second one would be enjoy it. Enjoy what you're doing. And if you're not enjoying it, say no. Third one would be go easy on yourself and others.
Natalie, last words. Is there anything that you want to share with your audience, your fans, your friends, and people who are watching this?
Next year, it's happening very soon. I'm going to be releasing a lot of music, so yeah, stay put. And I hope you like what I'm doing so far. I've been recording a lot, and yeah, I've got a lot of great stuff coming, so I'm super excited. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm gonna put all her links of social media, her latest single down in the description. Make sure you go down there, click on there, go have a listen, go to her social media and give her a follow. Thanks very much for
Thank you so
coming.
much.
It was such a pleasure to have you with us in our podcast, and we hope to see you again in the future.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.